So we go to the setting once again. SPRO, IMJ reference. Okay. Financial accounting review. Accounts receivables and payables. Business transactions. Outgoing payment global parameters. Here we have a validation, right? Make and change document settings. Here we have settings for the validation, right? So on Friday, what we did, we have created for our company code is TAMA. We mentioned the caller point is one. Okay, so one is nothing but the document header. Okay, so what was our requirement? Just recall the one thing. Okay, on Friday we discussed that document date should be equal to posting date, right? Then only the user can post the document, whether it is from FB50 or from FB60. Okay, in FB60 invoice date, we can call it as a document date. Okay, so when these parameters are validate, I mean, correct, then only the user can post the document. Otherwise, he will get the error, right? So for this thing, what we did, we have mentioned our company code and call up point. Okay, so call up point is nothing but the document header date, right? Because if you open the FB50, if I open transaction FB50, right? So as I mentioned to you, when we do configuration or else any document entry, all the data will store in the table, right? So this table is a header. The document date and posting date we have a in a header table, right? So just note down it. Okay. So we have a header data, header data, header date of any document. It's stored in the BKPF, right? So this thing is clear. So after that, we have a document date and posting date. Just select this field and click on F1. Okay, F and F1. Then you will have the option of this technical name. Okay, technical information. Right. If I click on it, the field name is BLDAT. Okay, so I will copy this BLDAT. Okay, so the document date technical name is BLDAT. Okay, so in the same way, I will copy I will take the posting date technical name F1. Okay. The third logo, technical information. Okay. The wrench symbol. After that, what I will do, BUDAT. Okay. I will copy this posting date technical name. Okay. This is the technical name. So I'm here mentioning the header data table name is BKPF. Okay. In the BKPF, we have a multiple fields. So as of now, we are taking these two fields. Okay, head document date and posting date. Okay, so if I go to this in TMA, we have created a validation of TAMA, right? The validation name also we mentioned the same. If I double click on it, okay. So what are the dates? We did the first prerequisites. Okay, for in validation, what are the things we need to do? First, we need to mention the prerequisite. In prerequisite, we mention the company code equal to what is our company code? TAMA, right? After that, we mention the formula in the checkpoint. Okay, checkpoint is nothing but we mention the formula that is document date equals to posting date. Okay, check. After that, check. The system will check that for this company code TAMA when the user was posting FB50 or FB60 transactions, it will check that document date should be equal to posting date. Okay, so after that, if we if the request the check is not valid, I mean to say that the requirement is not correct when the document date is not equal to the posting date, then system will throw this error. Okay, for this error message we have already predefined errors. Okay, that predefined errors we mentioned here, error 006, right? This is the error message. Okay, the error message is 006. As I already mentioned, SAP already have a predefined error messages. So if you want to make any modifications for the error messages, we have a technical team. ABAP team will take care of this. Okay. So for example, if I want to change this message E006 SC91, okay. What is the message class? All the errors have a message class. For this message number 006, we have a message class of Z1, right? But I cannot change this when I'm trying to change this, for example, let me change this 006. Okay. So if you want to change this 006, the system will tell you that you are not authorized to make the changes. Okay. In a demo system or else in a real time, we have a team like a authorization team. Okay. So they will do the segregation of duties. Right. So as of now, we are working on the FICO. Right. FICO module. In the same way, we have other modules also, SDM. So authorization team will do which module T codes are required, and they will ask, for example, we will have authorization to only FICO related transaction and FICO related configuration. Okay, we don't have any authorization to the other uh, SD or MM related transactions. Okay, so as of now, we did not discuss about this authorization team, but we just authorization teams. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, like we have a ABAP team. ABAP means technical team who will do the configuration, right? So authorization team, what they will do, this message class and message type can be changed by only technical team, which means this the T codes and SC91, all the T codes will give the access to the technical team. If I want to change from my side also, for example, if you open SC91, I don't have authorization. I mean, I cannot change this. Even in demo system also I cannot change, and even the real system also I cannot change. Okay, if I want to change this, if I click on this edit option, I'm getting an error that you are not authorized to make the changes. Okay, so it is not completely scope of FICO. So right. So as of now, we discussed this thing. Okay, so what I will do, I will open FB60 also. What is our 8,000? This is the document date, invoice date 4. I will take this as 3. Okay. So if you observe, the both are not identical, right? So these two are different. Here, invoice date, document date or invoice date is 3A, and the posting date is 4A, right? So when I simulate, I'm getting an error, right? Posting date, brackets, and document date not identical, right? So this is the error, but I want to know the in detail error. Okay. So I want to know the in detail error. So we have an option like message variables, right? So here what we need to do, as I mentioned, header data, BKPF, right? In a field is BLDAT and posting date is BUDAT, right? So I will mention here BKPF. Okay. What is my document date? BLDAT, BLDAT, right? After that, posting date, what is the table? BKPF, right? In a BKPF, this is the table name and this is the field name. And also this is the table name and this is the field name, right? BUDAT. BUDAT. Okay, just I want to mention that earlier what was the error which we received? Let me open. Error we used to get this. Just take a screenshot of this. So we have received the error like this. Okay. So just I want to give the in detail of this error. Okay. So okay. So they did not mention any date, right? So the error mentioning this posting date, brackets, and document date not identical, right? So just I'm doing the some more configuration in the message class, right? Message variable, the table name and the field name. The field name is related to the document name and field table name and the field name, right? Save this. Okay, go back. So let me go to the transactional once again, FB60 or FB50. FB60. Okay. So if I go to FB60, 8,000, document date, not identical, right? Document date and posting date is different. So when I take the 5,100, if I click on simulate, now the error message, just I will take the error screenshot. Now the error also, now also we are getting the error, but it is more detailed, right? Earlier we just get the error as posting date in bracket and document date in indent. So that is the usage of this one, message variables. Okay. So in message variables, what we did, we gave the complete information about that error with the help of the table name. So when it was picking like this is the bracket, so it is picking the BLDA date which I entered, right? The document date which I entered and posting date which I entered, right? So that is the reason. Now saying the posting date and document date is not identical. Okay. I have entered in a different way. That is the reason it's coming like this. So I should enter here as a BUDAT and here I should enter BLDAT. Okay, got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So this is the usage of the message class. Actually, technical team will take care of this message numbers and message class. If you want to update any message number, they will make from there. Okay. No need to do just in SC91. They will update, but we don't have an authorization to update this. Okay, SC91. What is our message class? Jet1, right? So if I click on change, I can change here. For example, if I select this and I can change the description, right? So, for example, I will explain another example. Like for example, take another example like posting date. Okay, posting date is less than or equal to current date, right? So we have already created this. So I have a prerequisite, right? My prerequisite is company code equal to TAM, right? In check, I will let this. I will delete this equal to delete documented is delete. So in a header, is what I want to enter posting date, right? Posting date. Okay. Posting date equals to and constant value. Okay, I don't want to give the constant value. I will check the current is etc. Current is current date. Okay. So in a message, just I want to change the message. Okay. So instead of 003, I will take 005. Okay, but the 005, the text is different. Okay, so when we want to make any changes to the message text, only technical team will take care of this. Okay, so if I want to 006, 00, sorry, as per my new rule, system will not accept. For example, my posting date. My posting date is 05/08/2025. Okay, debit 100, 1000, debit 100. Validation document type may not be used with this. Now you tell me why we are getting this error.
Because we have put it equal only in this.
Actually, yes. Actually, if you observe, the error message was like dollar symbol, right? Validation. This was the error, but this error is not related. I mean, not exactly matched with my checkpoint, right? Because
Hmm.
I don't have an authorization, so I did not change the this one. Okay. So here it is telling that validation document type. Okay, document type. When it comes to star symbol or bracket symbol, so it is taking this document date because with the help of this table and field name, I did not remove this, right? So it is taking this value and these two dates with the help of this message variable, right? For example, if I remove, you will get this entire message text instead of the values. Now you got it. Document type space may not be used with the account, right? Earlier that message was different, and this message was different. So I want to tell you this, like message variables, we can give the table name and field name, so that what will happen, the message will be more identical. Okay. So now we are going to talk about substitution. Okay. Substitution is nothing but the name itself indicate you that in specific field we are telling the system to substitute the value. Okay. For example, if Shambhavi, you tell me, how can I control this text field if it is required or not required with the help of the field status field, right? Field status. Okay. So this, what is this GL? Just make a note of this GL 5,000, right? 530. The GL 5330. I want to make the text field is mandatory. Okay. Okay. That means I want this GL text field as a mandatory. So for this, what I need to do, first I will go this FS 00 5,000. 5,000 GL is a rent GL. Okay. For this GL, we have field status group of G001. Okay. We have, if you remember, we created a field status group TAMA. In that, we have a group of G001. Right. Let me directly go on to OBC4. In OBC4, what is our field status group? TAMA. Right. I'm not yet started telling about the substitution, but before telling the substitution, just I want to tell you the what is the exact requirement related to the substitution. Okay, so field status G001. So I want to make this text field as required. Okay, you know the logic, right? Surface is hidden, not required. Required an option. So I want to make this as a required text field as a required. Every 15. Every 50 or every 60. I want to make this field as mandatory. Now we are getting the error, right? Now we are getting the error that an entry required in the item text for record number 5,000. Right? Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir.
Hello.
Sir, your voice is low.
Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello.
Yes,
now
sir.
you're
Yes,
audible.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I think. Yeah. So you got this concept, right? I mean, what is the usage of this field status variant? Okay. So in this, if you G001 was mentioned for this GL 5,000, right? So in this, what we did in OBC4, I for this G 001. okay, I included the text field as required entry, right? So if I mention this text field as required entry, so when I trying to click post any document, I'm getting this error, right? An entry is required with item text field for 5,000, right?
Right.
Yes. So what are the things we did? For GL 5,000 text field is mandatory. As of now, you understand this one. Okay, I will take it as a red color. Now, what I will do, I will create a substitution for this GL 5,000. The user should enter the text as rent payment. Okay. Okay. Just I will do the configuration. Substitution in account documents. Okay. If I click on this, what is my company code? TAM. Okay. New entries. TAMA. Okay. Call up point is 2 because I tell you call up point is 2 because it is related to the line item. Okay. Earlier I mentioned the call up point. We need to take the for the document, right? So the GL will come under the line item table, right? BSEC table. That is the reason I mentioned the call up point as 2. Okay. So if I double click on it, I will create a substitution TAMA for GL entry as rent payable. Okay, I will click on this same step. Then, as I mentioned, we need to check, we need to enter the text field as rent payable, right? So when the user was entered the data, when the user was posting any transaction in FB60 or FB50, for the GL 5,000, the text should come as rent payable. Okay, so I click on this prerequisite. There is my company code. Company code equal to TAM, right? Here also we need to be, if you observe in the substitution, we don't have any checkpoint. So in the prerequisites only, we need to mention the company code and the GL number, I mean, or the rule also. Okay, what is my GL? GL. GL. And GL equals to, what is my GL? 5000, right? Constant 5000. Okay, so I did the prerequisite. This is my formula. Like company code is TAMA and GL is 5,000, right? The substitution is for this GL, for this company code, when user was selected this GL for entry, it should come as rent payable, right? Automatically, it should trigger the rent payable. Got it? So, but before this setting, what we did, we make this text as a mandatory, right? So now go to this transaction FB60. Go back to transaction of FB60, right? Select this any vendor. Invoice date is equal to posting date. GL 5,100, right? So substitution is nothing but when we are entering the data, system automatically capturing the data. For example, what I did for this GL 5,000, system automatically take the text as this is my GL, right? So for this, when the user select this GL for any postings, it automatically take the text field as rent payment, right? Okay, so I will go to this, yeah, 5,000 GL. Here I mention the text is mandatory, right? So instead of the rent payment, I will mention as payment. Okay, so try to understand. So instead of the rent payment, I manually give it as a payment, right? So when I try to simulate the document, okay, if you can observe also here, I mention the payment. But in a In a configuration, I mentioned this as okay. In a substitution, I mentioned the text should be rent payment, right? But manually, I'm mentioning as a payment instead of rent payment, right? So when I simulate the document, okay, just I want this field should be here, okay? Okay. So what are the things we did? We created this substitution, right? What is the substitution? TAM, right? After that, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. So we need to activate this, right? 0, 1. We need to activate this 1, right? Now I just activated this substitution, right? So earlier, before activation, I'm getting this text as payment as per the text which I entered in the FB60, right? So I will go back this transaction once again. Now I will enter FB60, okay? So I will take this 8,048. Amount would be 100, somewhat like. For this GL, I made the settings 100. So in the text field also, I want to enter as payment, right? So if I click on simulate, document type and may not be used with the account. Let me clear this validation before. Because if you are able to recall, we did some changes in the validation. So that is the reason it is reflecting the validation also. Okay. So what are the changes I did for this validation? TAMA. Posting date should be current date. Okay. So what are the mistake I did here? Posting date should be current date. And then I enter the current date. Okay, let me delete this.
Daddy,
Let me delete this validation first. Okay. Let me go back to this transaction once again. FB16, 16, 8,048. Payment. Okay, if I click on subs. Wait a minute, let me check this substitution rule what we created for validation. A substitution account for document entries. Okay, so we can check everything settings once again. So the caller point, we have created the substitution, but we did not assign here, right? TAMA. Okay. So in this screen, what are the things we need to do? What is our company code, TAMA, and caller point, and all the GL and text will come under the BSEC table. That is the reason I mentioned the caller point as 2 line items, right? So after that, if you remember, I created a substitution, which means I double click on this. I created a substitution with the name of TAMA, right? So in this TAMA, what I mentioned, company code is TAMA and GL is 5,000, right? For this, the substitution is nothing but the text field should come like a rent payable, right? So this is the configuration which I did. Okay. So if I go back to the screen, and also I activated this line item. So I activated this substitution rule. Okay, but okay. Now if I want to simulate, it is coming as a payment. Okay. So let me refresh this T code FB60. Okay, what is this vendor number? Document number 48,5,100, and here also 100. But in the text, manually I'm mentioning as payment. Okay, payment. So if I simulate, it come as rent payable. Right? You got it right? In FB60, manually I mentioned as payment. Right? But if you go back, it is automatically changed as a rent payable. Right? For example, if I click on it, I will mention as my company code TAMA, right? If I simulate this document, payable. Got it? When user was wrongly entered this text also, it is taking the value from the substitution. Okay, that is the usage of the substitution. Okay, for any GL or anything, if you want to do the predefined values. Okay, so automatically, if the user, if we wrongly mention the text also, the system automatically taking from the substitution in the backend, and it is fetching here rent payable. Okay, got it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, yes.
this is the main usage of this validation and substitution. Okay. Now just I want to recap the not only the recap, just I want to tell you the vendor setup. Okay, vendor setup. Where was this? I'm just I'm taking this our vendor groups which we created earlier, like what is the domestic vendor groups and what is the foreign vendors groups. That we created vendor groups. A minute, just I'm checking the sheets. Yes, this is the document. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
if you are able to recall, we did the vendor setup, right? I mean, vendor configuration, right? Vendor side. What are the tasks required in AP side? Vendor setup and vendor number and vendor invoice and vendor payment, right?
Right.
The payment. Okay. So there is a logic behind it. That is the reason I'm asking again. Okay. So these are the end user activities: vendor setup, vendor invoice, and vendor payment, right? So to perform these end user activities, what are the configurations we did? Number range we created and assign the number ranges to Allow me 2 minutes. Just I'm checking the sheet once again. Somewhere I okay on the sheet. Yes. If you're able to recall, this is the setting we did, right? As an end user side, a vendor setup is required and vendor invoice is required and payment they have to perform, right? So for this, what are the configuration we did? Vendor account group we created for domestic and foreign, right? And vendor group we have assigned to the vendor in OBA. After that, we created a number ranges, right? 05 we created and 07 we created. That is the reason domestic vendor group is following the 8 series and foreign vendor group is following the 7 series, right? And we assign this number ranges to the vendor group, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So you tell me what do you mean by the reconciliation account?
Consolidation amount of vendor accounts in the group.
Exactly. For example, we have a 10,000 vendors. So in the 10,000 vendors, instead of showing the all the vendors individual balances in the balance sheet, we can take one account as accounts payable. Okay. So accounts payable, and we will treat this liability account as a recon account, right? So that what will happen? All the data will consolidated in this account, right? So that is a usage of consolidated account, right? So you tell me, we have a separate number ranges for domestic group and foreign group, right? 8
Right.
and 9. So in the same way, maybe business have a requirement like they want to show the consolidated amounts for domestic vendors in one account and all the foreign vendors in one account also, right? Earlier, what we did, we created a consolidated GL. This is my recon account. One second. Recon account. Okay. For all, this is my recon account. Okay. So I will just move this. This is my recon account, right? Just open it first 00 liabilities. This is my accounts payable, right? If I open this, how do I know this is my recon account? In a control data, we have an option that reconciliation account type for vendor, which means I created this account as a recon account for vendors, right? So if you observe, the number range is different and the group is different, but for the both groups, we have a same recon account, right?
Right.
So let's try to understand the requirement. Now the business is saying, you tell me how can we proceed. Okay. Now the business is telling we should have consolidated amounts for domestic vendors separately and foreign vendors separately. Now what we can do? You got my point, right? Earlier, whether it is a domestic vendor or whether it is a foreign vendor, we have only one recon account, right?
Right.
So in this, how does all the data, all that, for example, let me open. So when I created a vendor master data, XK03, XK01 I created. This is my vendor, right? 8,000. Okay. In a company code data, I open. Are you able to recall that? Here we mentioned the recon account, right? So that what will happen if I enter any document, for example, if I enter FB60, okay, this is my vendor, 1000, okay. So if I click on details, okay, if I click on details, The GL was 3000, right? How this GL was I mean, directly fetched in FB60? Any idea?
Vendor master data.
Exactly. So with the help of the vendor master data, it was fetched, right? So if we have a domestic vendors or if we have a foreign vendors, we have a same vendor recon account, right? Got it? So what are the things we can do? For example, if we have a two vendor groups, the solution is simple. So what we need to do, we need to create a two recon accounts. And in the vendor master data, we need to mention this, right? So earlier, for example, earlier 3000. So I will create a, for example, 300 3010. So I will create another recon account of 3010. In a vendor master data for foreign vendors, I will assign this 3010. So that what will happen? All the consolidated data, domestic vendors, consolidate. Okay, you got it right. We need to create a two recon accounts and vendor master data. We will update the respective recon account, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So this is simple, right? You understand this, right? So that for this reason, what we have a two recon accounts, right? So my requirement, we have a client or we have another requirement. Okay. So this domestic vendors. Okay, let's take an example for the domestic vendors group. Okay, for domestic vendors, we have two products. For example, two actually, what is our vendor? HP is our vendor, right? Okay, HP is our vendor. So try to understand this logic. HP is our vendor. Okay. So we are taking raw material from HP. Okay. And also we are taking the product or finished goods or product from HP. Okay. HP is our vendor. But so we are dealing two activities with this vendor. Okay. For from this vendor, we are taking the raw material and as well as we are taking the product or finished goods. Okay. So the user is asking like the raw material will go to one recon account. Okay. Try to understand. And product will go to another recon account. Got the requirement, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So earlier, what first requirement is what? For example, user is telling that for the different groups, we should have a different recon account. So at that moment, what we did for the different the vendors are different, the groups are different. So that we directly assign we created another reconciliation account and we directly created another reconciliation. Okay. For example, if I open FS double zero. So FS double zero. So instead of the 3010, we have a reconciliation. Okay, this is my accounts payable. So I will just copy and I will make it as 3010. As per our example, I will mention 3010. All right. So in for the first requirement, what we did for for all the domestic vendors. Okay, ignore the group if you're confused. Okay, so for all the domestic vendors, I will assign in a vendor master data, I will mention 3000. Right. For all the foreign vendors, I will mention 3010. Right. So that the balance will fetch accordingly. Right. But in the second requirement, we have a same vendor. Okay. So in a same vendor, it should go as per the product. For example, if it is a raw material, then here it has to go to some recon account. If it is a product, it has to go to the another recon account. Right.
Right.
thing we can call it as an alternative recon account. Okay, alternative recon account. How this recon account is fetched from the vendor master data, right? With the help of the vendor master data, system automatically capture the recon account. So we cannot change this recon account, right? So if you open FB60, here it was gray out, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I cannot change this vendor recon account, right? I cannot change this. Okay. I cannot change this vendor recon account. So for this, we have a concept of alternative recon account. Why the reason behind it, if you have a same vendor, but maybe the products are different or the services are different, the business wants to for the same vendor, they want to book the expenses for one expenses in one recon account and or another expenses in another recon account. Okay, so financial accounting new bank transactions.
Say, can you add the T code in one session?
Okay, I will mention in the document. Okay, or else here also you can find with alternative recon account, right? So we could double click on define alternative recon account. Okay, so let me try the T code for this display enhancement of the display. I'm not sure whether we have a T code or not, but I will mention in the document. Okay, what is our chart of accounts? TAN, right? So here just I will do this with this. Okay, so before doing this, I need another alternate recon account, right? So as I mentioned, this is for the raw material. Okay, I will mention as a accounts payable for raw material. In a control tab, we have a option like recon account ready for inputs. Okay, so which means in FB60, we try to understand in FB60, the field was gray out, right? So if I click on this, the field is editable. Okay, recon account ready for input. Okay, so I'm for this 3000, I'm mentioning this recon account ready for input. Okay, so I select this. So in the same way, the another GL 3010. For this GL also, I'm mentioning this field is editable. Recon account ready for input. Okay, so I will save this. After that, I will mention in this configuration. This is the screen. Sorry, somewhere. Okay, this is the transactional code. Define define alternative recon accounts. My chart of accounts is TM. So here I'm mentioning the system. My 3000 alternate recon account is 3010, right? So for 3010 alternate recon account is 3000. Okay, just save this. Now go to the transactions FB60. The 8000 document 8000 5000 100 text field is not better. Okay, so if I click on details, now the field is editable, right? The GL field is editable. So if I click on this, now we have a two alternative requirements, right? 3010, which is for the final product, and 300 for the raw material, right? So that is the usage of alternate recon account. For this, what we did first, we created the alternate another GL. Okay, for this requirement, we required two reconciliation accounts, right? After that, in FS00, what we did, we mentioned that two reconciliation GLs as ready for input, right? In FS00, we did this setting, right? After that, what we did, I will mention the T code also. I was unable to recall the T code, but after that, we have defined two GLs as alternate. Okay, so once we did this setting, now we can able to yeah. Now we can do the alternate GL, right? Got it?
Okay.
Hello. Yeah. For this vendor, for this 8,000 vendor, if you observe the vendor master data also. Okay. So let me open the vendor master data in another screen. XK03. Okay. So this is my vendor. In a vendor master data, the reconciliation account is 3,000, right? But once we made the changes to this GL, now we have a ability to change this reconciliation account. So that option we can call it as an alternate to recon account, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow we can discuss about LSMW, legacy system migration workbench, which we can transfer the data from other system to SAP system. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.